When I saw Deadman Wonderland for the first time back in the day, it instantly became one of my favorite animes and still holds a special place in my heart for multiple reasons. One of the reasons being because it was one of the shows that premiered when Toonami was revived. For those that don't know what Toonami is, let me give you a quick rundown. It was and still is a action cartoon block that runs on Cartoon Network. Back in the day, they aired shows like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Sailor Moon, and so on. In fact, as I'm writing the script right now, Sailor Moon is airing on Cartoon Network as part of their Toonami Rewind block. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So Toonami was my favorite cartoon block. I loved it more than Kids WB, the Fox Box, and so on. Am I showing my age yet? Anyway, Toonami originally ran from 97 to 2008. I was there during the last broadcast. I remember Tom saying, "Stay gold." I was in disbelief. I just could not believe that it was actually gone. A part of my childhood was gone in an instant. I was devastated, but to my utter surprise and delight, it came back in 2012. And like I said earlier, one of the shows that premiered when the block came back was Deadman Wonderland.
The only survivor, Ganta Igarashi.
The only recourse that we have is capital punishment.
Wrongfully convicted, Ganta has been shipped off to the worst place on Earth, Deadman Wonderland.
That's one of the reasons why Deadman Wonderland holds a special place in my heart. Another reason why is because back in the day, I really wasn't a big fan of blood or gore or mature rated anime with all that stuff in it. I felt like Deadman Wonderland was like a good stepping stone, a good gateway into entertainment like that. If it wasn't for Deadman Wonderland, I might have not gotten into anime like Berserk and Attack on Titan, so on and so forth. And one more reason why it holds a special place in my heart is because it was one of the first manga that I ever started collecting. I gotta make sure I cover up Shiro here so I don't get myself in trouble.
Where your clothes at?
The thing is, these are the only volumes that I own because back in the day when I was collecting Deadman Wonderland, it was one of the hardest manga to get your hands on. It was always out of stock. It was crazy. But nowadays, it's a lot cheaper and easier to get your hands on all the volumes. I always wanted to see another season of this anime. Like, if I was to make a top 10 video of anime that I want to see another season of, Deadman Wonderland would be my number one. I take that back, another season of Super would be my number one, but Deadman Wonderland would be high up there. But anyway, even though I've been gushing about Deadman Wonderland and how it holds a special place in my heart, I've actually never finished the manga. I've only ever read up to volume 6 of the manga out of 13. It's always been in the back of my mind to go finish this manga, but I just never have. But out of nowhere, I finally got the urge to finally finish this manga. And that's why you guys clicked on this video, to find out what happens after the Deadman Wonderland anime. But before we talk about what happens after the anime, let me go ahead and give you guys a recap of season 1 for those that haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a long time, because it has been over a decade since this anime came out. I think it came out in 2011, 13 years ago, golly. Our story starts off with us getting introduced to Ganta, a middle schooler getting ready for high school. One day, this monster, this creature, this thing ends up attacking his classroom, wiping out everyone except for him. This red man ends up putting a red stone into Ganta's chest. Ganta ends up getting framed for the crime. The fake video was the nail in the coffin.
I swear it. Of course I'm gonna walk. Think about it. No one's gonna buy a middle school kid being behind something this horrific. Who's the lawyer here?
He's then shipped off to the prison Deadman Wonderland, which is like a mix between an amusement park and a prison. Inmates are forced to entertain the public by participating in death games and other things of the sort. When Ganta first gets to the prison, he's introduced to the warden, and I'm immediately reminded why I liked her so much.
Does the fresh meat have any questions?
Yeah. How big are those?
I'm a G.
Whoa.
He quickly learns what life is going to be like. He then ends up running into a girl named Shiro who seems to know him, but he doesn't remember her at all. She's kind of a mystery and just does what she wants. Ganta learns that to survive in Deadman Wonderland, he's going to need to grow a backbone and fight.
So if you're going to kill me, stop wasting my damn time and do it. Because while I'm breathing, this place and its rules can suck my—
We, as the audience, end up finding out that the Red Man is being held at Deadman Wonderland. Seems like he escapes every once in a while and goes on a rampage. Ganta spots the Red Man and tries to take them down. This is when he realizes that he has blood powers for some reason. Ganta's attack seems to do no damage to the Red Man, and then Red Man just leaves. Ganta learns that the Red Man is being held at cell block G, so that's where he goes. Ganta then ends up running into another inmate that can use blood powers. He thinks that this person is the Red Man. But of course, he's not the Red Man. His name is Shinji, aka Crow. He tells Ganta in a non-direct way that cell block G is where they keep the inmates that can use blood powers. They call them Deadmen. Ganta ends up getting knocked out and strapped to a table so that his body can be studied. This is when he learns that his lawyer Takumi is the one who framed him for the Red Man's crime. He wanted to see why the Red Man was interested in him. Why did the Red Man give him blood powers? Ganta ends up finding out that he's going to have to participate in a death match called Carnival Corpse, where he has to fight another dead man. If he wins enough fights, he'll be able to meet the Red Man again, but that's easier said than done. His first battle is against Crow. He ends up getting beat down pretty bad, but he gets back up and clutches a win. On her way to Cell Block G to save Ganta, we end up learning that Shiro also has some kind of power. Also, it's hinted at that she may be the Red Man. After his fight with Crow, Ganta ends up meeting a sweet girl named Minatsuki. But turns out her sweetness was all an act. She's actually crazy and his next opponent in Carnival Corpse, codename Hummingbird.
Oh, when I'm done with you, boy, you're gonna have nightmares for a month. Please keep making that face. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Pause.
We also get the twist that she's Yo's sister. Yo is an inmate that's been helping Ganta, but in reality, he's only been using Ganta so that way he can help his sister. After some family drama, Ganta is able to take down Minatsuki with a headbutt. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that 10 years ago, an earthquake happened, destroying most of Tokyo. Deadman Wonderland was built on top of where the earthquake happened. Some of the survivors of this earthquake ended up getting blood powers. These people are kept in a secret part of Deadman Wonderland, Cell Block G. And like I mentioned before, they are forced to fight each other. But why are they forced to fight each other? Is it just for rich people's entertainment, or is there another reason? We, the audience, end up learning that Shiro has a split personality, and that yes, she is the Red Man. It seems like she just killed the director of Deadman Wonderland. Looks like they were in a death match. Why? We'll find out way later. Ganta's memories of Shiro start to become more clear. It seems like they were friends when they were kids. Later that day, Ganta gets asked to join the rebel group Scar Chain. They want to take down Deadman Wonderland from the inside out. Their plan is to break out, go to the media, and expose Deadman Wonderland for the hellhole that it is. But their opposition are the Undertakers. They're guards who can stand toe-to-toe with Deadman and their blood abilities. Ganta decides to join and they put their plan into action. But we end up finding out that one of the rebels is a double agent and has been working with the Undertakers. So the Undertakers end up showing up to stop their plan. They end up being no match for the Undertakers and end up losing over half their group and then are forced back into their hideaway. But before they can execute Plan B, the double agent ends up leading the Undertakers to their hideaway. We also learn that the double agent is the one who made Ganta's fake confession video. Crow ends up coming to the rescue. Him and Ganta are buddies now. They ask him to join the rebel group and he basically says,
Hell no! Huh?
He just really doesn't care. Ganta goes to Crow and asks him to train him and Crow agrees. After training with Crow, Ganta tries to save Kariko and Shiro. They were captured by the Undertakers. The rebel leader was also captured and the Undertakers broke him. So now he's attacking friend and foe. Kariko and Ganta are able to talk him down, but then gets a hole put in him. Ganta ends up using a powered up version of his blood ability, taking out the strongest Undertaker. The rebel leader ends up dying in the process to make sure that the Undertaker is taken down. The rebels end up escaping Deadman Wonderland on a ship. Ganta decides to stay behind for multiple reasons. First off, he's still one of the most hated people in the world. He's still being framed for what the Red Man did to his classmates. He doesn't want to leave Shiro and he still needs to take revenge on the Red Man. So that was the end to season 1 and I have some thoughts. So after rewatching the anime after over a decade, is it still just as good as I remember? Is it still one of my favorite anime? Now, don't get me wrong, it still has its moments and it will always hold a special place in my heart, but it's a lot more edgy and dumb than I remember. An example of something dumb has to do with their collars. I forgot to explain the collars earlier. Every inmate in Deadman Wonderland is wearing one of these collars. The collars are constantly pumping poison into their bodies. If they don't eat this special piece of candy every 3 days, it's over. My problem with the collars is that they should do more than what they do. Like a guard should be able to push a button and stun an inmate, or there should be be able to do like Amanda Waller and just push a button and their head goes boom. The caller should also have some kind of listening device to listen in on inmates' conversations. But if the callers did that, we wouldn't have much of a show. It just kind of feels like a plot hole, a plot convenience, just a glaring design flaw. An example of something edgy is that Karako and Shiro are caught by the Undertakers. The Undertakers end up getting on this TV broadcast system and they're like, hey, if you don't come save them, we're going to do something that rhymes with grape and everybody's going to see. An example of something that's funny, dumb, and edgy is that our heroes are kind of just standing there having a conversation while the bad guys are standing right there. So when Karako is attacked, I just laugh because I'm like, what are you doing? I could keep listing off the dumb, edgy stuff, but we're not here for that. A lot of the fights really aren't all that great. A lot of them just kind of boil down to shooting some kind of projectile or moving their blood so fast you can barely see it. One thing that does hold up really well is the music. It fits the show perfectly. I still jam out to the opening theme song in my car. I wish I could play some of the music for you, but I'm just too scared of copyright. So overall, how do I feel about the first season of the anime after rewatching it? Let's just say if you was to ask me, hey, can you recommend me some dark, edgy anime? Deadman Wonderland would probably be towards the bottom of that recommendation list. It's still enjoyable, but there's just so many other anime that I would recommend over Deadman Wonderland. So with that all said, after finishing the anime, I decided to start the manga from the very beginning to see, the differences. I want to share what I found. Now there are a lot of differences, but I'm going to try to stick to just the major ones. First off, the fake video of him confessing doesn't happen in the manga. That's an anime exclusive. Instead of Yo, we're introduced to the character Ayazumi, who doesn't show up in the anime at all. She really doesn't come into play until later on. After Ganta's fight with Crow, he gets introduced to other dead men that don't show up in the anime. These other dead men also don't do anything until later on. When Karako and Shiro are captured by the Undertakers, all the rebels show up to help. In the anime, Ganta's the only one that's able to make it to the room to help. So those were the major differences, nothing too crazy. I can understand why the anime left out certain characters because they don't really do anything during the Undertakers versus Rebels arc. They kind of just disappear while the whole thing is going down. The anime may be towards the bottom of my recommendation list, but I do recommend the manga. To me, the fights are better and it's just a more enjoyable read than it is a watch. So now that we've covered that, we can finally get into what happens after the anime. The anime covered up to volume 5 of the manga, so now we're starting with volume 6. And hey, if you haven't liked the video or subscribed, please do. It would mean a whole lot to me and lets me know to do more videos like this. We start off with Ganta getting released from solitary confinement. He was questioned about the rebels escaping, but he didn't give up any information. He's depressed about the rebel leader dying, but he didn't die in vain. It seems like the rebels made it to the media, and now the media is starting to reveal the dark secrets of Deadman Wonderland, like how there's an underground laboratory and how there's people with blood powers. Since so many dead men died during the whole Undertaker situation, the new director Tamaki wants to make artificial dead men. Seems like Izumi is on the list to become an artificial dead man. The warden says that she wants Izumi to be her eyes on the inside. It seems like Tamaki let all the dead men out of cell block G, so now they can walk around like normal prisoners. Seems like after the run-in with the Undertakers, Ganta has a better grip on his powers and has become more confident. Tamaki holds a press conference and comes clean about Deadman Wonderland. He's like, yeah, we have people with blood powers. We call them dead men. They're extremely dangerous and no longer human. We at Deadman Wonderland are keeping you safe from these dangerous individuals. He then shows a live fight between two dead men to scare the public. He's using fear-mongering to keep Deadman Wonderland from getting shut down. The dead man that was hiding behind a mask during the live event was Ayazumi. She's become an artificial dead man. But even with the reveal of these artificial dead men, Ganta is starting to get used to his life here in Deadman Wonderland. Of course, no one can replace his friends, but these new ones aren't so bad. But peace doesn't last long as the dead men are provoked into an all-out brawl with the artificial dead men. We, the audience, can tell that the artificial dead men are being brainwashed, but the original dead men don't know that, so they're just taking care of business. But Ganta can tell that something is off, so when he sees his friend Ayazumi is about to be killed, he accidentally lets off a huge attack. His attack puts an end to all the fighting. Of course, everyone is pissed at him for almost getting them all killed. They think that he switched sides, that he's on the side of the artificial dead men. It seems like Shiro is his only friend, but when he finds out that she's also a dead man now, he's like, I hate you and leave me alone. But he's only saying that to protect her. He doesn't want to get her mixed up in all this fighting. Ganta is on the hunt for Ayazumi. He wants to save her from her brainwashing. He's able to get his hands on where she's being held at and goes to find her. So he ends up running into her. Of course, they get into a fight, but then he's able to break her out of her mind control. Meanwhile, Shiro realizes that Ganta doesn't hate her, but he's just trying to protect her. Seems like the warden is putting together a defense force. After saving the Ayazumi, Ganta gets captured. Seems like Director Tamaki wanted to have a chat with him. He explains that the old director wanted to find someone strong enough to go toe-to-toe with the Wretched Egg, aka the Red Man. That's why he said if he won enough matches during Carnival Corps, he would get a chance to fight the Red Man again. Ganta also learns that his mom helped create the Red Man and that he used to live at Deadman Wonderland when he was a kid. His mom was doing research on how to make a human stronger, and that gave birth to the Red Man. Tamaki tells him that he's been making deadmen and artificial deadmen fight each other so that way he can find or make someone strong enough to take down the Red Man. He's like, hey, we should work together, we have the same goal. But of course, Ganta refuses. He's like, okay, then we'll just use you as a test subject. Makima, the warden, ends up telling all her guards that she's going to be stepping down. She wants to take down Tamaki, even if that means becoming a criminal. But all the guards end up resigning so that way they can help her. That's how much they respect her. Shiro and Ayazumi come to Ganta's rescue. The warden also shows up to help Ganta. She asks if he'll join her team to take down the director. He says he'll join her side for now. They then split into different groups. Ganta's group ends up running into advanced artificial deadmen. That's when the original deadmen show up. They realize that Ganta isn't a traitor and that the artificial deadmen are being mind controlled. They tell him that they'll hold off these artificial deadmen, so that way he can find and destroy the mind control device. Of course, Ganta's team ends up running into even more opposition, but they're able to destroy the mind control device. But the director actually has the main mind control device. So before they can go find the director, they have to take down the strongest artificial deadman. By working together, they're able to take him down. This is when Ganta and Shiro confess their love to each other. Ganta decides he's gonna go find the director, and he asks Ayazumi to watch over Shiro. She got pretty beat up during that last fight. But as soon as Ganta leaves, it seems like Shiro switches personalities. She's turned into the Wretched Egg and wants to know where Ganta is. But Ayazumi isn't gonna give up that information without a fight. Meanwhile, the warden is able to corner Director Tamaki. Tamaki reveals that the thing that caused the earthquake or the gravity bomb or whatever you want to call it 10 years ago was the original Deadman, the Wretched Egg. He explains that he created these artificial Deadmen to take down the Wretched Egg. He may want to stop the Wretched Egg, but his methods are completely inhumane. That's when the Wretched Egg shows up. Makima and the others try to stop the Wretched Egg, but it's just too powerful. And then we get the twist that the old director of Deadman Wonderland has taken over the body of the dead man, Mockingbird, one of the strongest deadmen. The old director reveals that he's been manipulating Tamaki from behind the scenes this entire time. Hearing this makes him go crazy, and then he ends up taking his own life. This is when Ganta shows up, sees the Red Man, and it's on sight. This is when we're hit with a gut punch. The Red Man killed Ayazumi. And then the Red Man says that Shiro is dead. This sends Ganta into a blinding rage and unleashes a devastating attack. That attack knocks off the Red Man's mask, revealing it to be Shiro. She then ends up leaving the battlefield. Ganta is left physically and emotionally wrecked. So after everything, Deadman Wonderland is shut down. The regular prisoners are moved to other prisons, but a lot of the deadmen were falsely accused of their crimes, so they might have a chance of becoming free people. And that's exactly what happens with Ganta. He's cleared of all his crimes and becomes a free man. So that was the end to the manga. I'm kidding. That would have been the end to season 2 if the anime ever got a season 2. I think I like the content of season 2 more than I did season 1. I like the reveal that director Tamaki was making deadmen and artificial deadmen fight each other, so that way he could either find or create a dead man strong enough to take down the Wretched Egg. So again, he has the same goal as Ganta, but the way he's doing it is completely inhumane. I also like the reveal that the old director took over the body of the Mockingbird. The reason why he's been switching bodies is because he wants to have the ultimate fight with the Wretched Egg. So what he does is that he finds a strong dead man and then takes over their body. He wants to be able to go toe to toe with the Wretched Egg at full power. He wants them to take each other out in a glorious fight. So now that Ganta is free and Deadman Wonderland is shut down, what's gonna happen now? The Wretched Egg and the old director are still within Deadman Wonderland and need to be dealt with. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into what would have been season 3 of Deadman Wonderland. It seems like some dead men got let free while others still gotta serve some time. Makima, the ex-warden, is trying to put together a team of dead men to take down the wretched egg once and for all. Kariko goes to recruit Ganta, who's staying at an orphanage now, but he refuses. He wants to forget all about Deadman Wonderland, but of course he ends up joining them. We cut to the old director, who's trying to figure out a way to completely shut down the Mother Goose system, so that way the wretched egg can be at full power. We then see that Shiro is still inside the mind of the wretched egg. As soon as they get to Deadman Wonderland, they are attacked by the wretched egg, who reveals that Shiro is still inside their head. After a quick fight, the wretched egg ends up retreating back into Deadman Wonderland for some reason. After that, they continue their operation, which is to gain control of the Mother Goose system so that way they can take down the wretched egg. The old director, who's controlling Mockingbird's body, ends up finding Ganta. He wants to capture him and take over his body next. Ganta ends up captured. While captured, the wretched egg comes to see him. Actually, it's Shiro. She's in control for now, but she ends up running away before they can actually have a conversation. The old director ends up explaining to Ganta that he's been switching bodies by downloading his memories into whatever body he wants. So he starts the memory download process. As the old director's memories start to flow into Ganta, he starts to see what he knows about Shiro. She was just a guinea pig. They would just pump viruses into her. Eventually, she made a split personality to deal with the pain. We now know it as the wretched egg. Apparently, they were pumping nanomachines into her body, which led to the creation of the Branch of Sin, aka their blood powers. We also learned the reason why Ganta doesn't remember Shiro, and it's because he saw her do something so horrific that he forced his brain to forget about her. Before the memories could be completely downloaded into him, Crow comes to the rescue. Ganta is able to escape while Crow stays behind to fight. But then Ganta comes back to help Crow fight. Ganta ends up taking a massive hit, but then he's able to land a point-blank hit on the director with the help of Crow, winning the fight. It seems like after that battle, the red stone that's in Ganta's chest that the red man put there is starting to spread around his body. After Ganta recovers, he tells the others that he saw the director's memories and how to control the Mother Goose system. It can be controlled by his blood powers. But it seems like Ganta and Crow didn't finish the job. The director is still alive. Ganta and the others make their way to the Mother Goose system. It seems like Ganta is able to use his Branch of Sin to open the Mother Goose system, but as soon as he does, the old director shows up. An all-out brawl breaks out and they start to push the old director back. So now we're on to the final volume of Deadman Wonderland. We've learned that the old director wants to fight Shiro at her strongest, and to do that, he needs to shut down the Mother Goose system. And like I mentioned earlier, the reason why he's switching bodies is because he wants to find one strong enough to go toe-to-toe with the wretched egg. Two of the biggest questions we still have left is 1, why does the wretched egg want to kill Ganta? And 2, why did the wretched egg attack his classroom? Well, let's get into the final volume to find out. We find out that Ganta's mom is the one who created the Mother Goose system and then killed herself so that way the old director couldn't pry any information out of her. After a hard-fought fight, Ganta is able to land the final blow on the old director. But then the wretched egg shows up, takes whatever was inside of the Mother Goose system, and then unlocks their full power. Ganta then learns that the only reason why his mom got pregnant was so that he could become a test subject. But she changed her mind once he was born. She underestimated the power of a mother's love. She's like, instead of using my baby, we'll use this baby, that baby being Shiro. Where did Shiro come from? I don't know, the manga never explains. Ganta then goes to meet Shiro on the Ferris wheel. So now we know why the wretched egg hates him so much. He was the one that was supposed to be experimented on and tortured, not her. She explains that his mom said that if she uses too much power, she won't be able to regenerate. She's like, thanks for the tip because I don't want to live anymore. So she unleashed her full power, which caused the earthquake that destroyed Tokyo and gave birth to the Deadmen 10 years ago. But of course, as we know, unleashing all that power didn't take her life. The reason why his mom survived when Shiro unleashed her full power is because she was holding some kind of red stone that's able to neutralize her power. She then ends up giving Shiro the red crystal and tells her to do whatever she wants with it. She then continues to live her sad, lonely life within Deadman Wonderland. She's like, do you think it's reasonable, understandable, why I tried to make you suffer as much as I did? Why I attacked your class? Ganta asks is why did she put the stone that can neutralize her powers inside of him? She doesn't answer, so he asks a follow-up question. Who are are you? Because she's not the wretched egg right now and she's not acting like the regular Shiro. She answers by saying that there's only one Shiro. She tells him that she hates herself and that she just wants to die. She wants the one that she loves to take her down. He tells her that he'll grant her wish. And then the final battle begins. They are now locked in mortal combat and things get pretty emotional. Shiro reveals that she actually doesn't want to die and just wants to be happy. Ganta's like, why don't we just be happy together? What's stopping us? She gives Ganta a hug and then his red stone ends up exploding. We are now on the final chapter. Life has gone on. Everybody is living their best life. It's almost like Deadman Wonderland never existed. It's like a far off memory. Ganta is alive and back in school. He doesn't seem to have his blood powers anymore. Shiro is also alive, but seems to be in a coma. The manga ends with Shiro opening her eyes. So that was the end to Deadman Wonderland. I'm glad I finally read it. Overall, how did I feel about the finale to the manga? I thought it was good. It paid off what it set up in the beginning of the manga, which was a fight between Ganta and the Red Man. Also, I'm glad we got a happy ending. It could have easily been a bittersweet ending or a sad ending, but we got a happy one. I'm thankful for that. So after letting the series marinate on my mind for a bit, I did find a few plot holes and I do have a few nitpicks and questions that never got answered. First off, where did Shiro come from? I guess in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, but at the same time, where did this baby come from? Did Ganta's mom like go to an orphanage and pick her up? Did she like pay somebody for their baby? Like where did Shiro come from? Secondly, why did Ganta's mom get pregnant if any baby would have done? Because again, when she didn't want to use Ganta anymore, she picked up Shiro. So if any baby would have did, why didn't she just do that in the first place? Why go through the 9-month process of being pregnant when any baby would have did the trick? Thirdly, how did Shiro find Ganta, or rather, how did the wretched egg find Ganta? It's not like she has like a special connection to Ganta where she's able to tell where he is at all times, or she's not able to track him via GPS, so how did she find him at that school? Also, how did she know he would end up at Deadman Wonderland? Or maybe she didn't know. Maybe she just wanted to get revenge on him and didn't expect him to show up at Deadman Wonderland. But then that brings up the question, why did she put the red stone inside his body that's able to neutralize her powers if she didn't think he would end up at Deadman Wonderland at some point? I could keep going, but I think that's enough nitpicking for now. Overall, I enjoyed this manga. I'd give it a solid 3 out of 5 stars. So now that you know the end of Deadman Wonderland, how do you feel about it and what manga should I cover in the future? Please leave your comments down below. Also, do you guys like these longer form videos or would you guys rather me tighten it up a bit? Believe me when I say it won't hurt my feelings for you to say, yeah, bro, you can make these a bit shorter, a bit more concise, that would be great. Or do you like these longer videos where I go into detail and give my input on the manga that we're talking about? Please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, like the video, and if you like me, subscribe to me. And as always, this has been Broken, and I'll catch y'all next time.